Well, that was the football version of a stick in the eye.
Those are never fun, and this show isn't going to be either.
To be or not to be? That is the question.
Hold up. It's the Chargers Squad. Everything Los Angeles Chargers every week. Covering all the big hits and game-changing plays from the City of Angels. The way only the Locked On Podcast Network can. Get ready and squad up. It's the Chargers Squad Show, starting now.
Well, hello and welcome. It's the Locked On Chargers Squad Show on the Locked On Chargers YouTube channel, P Fox, covering sports in LA, dating back to 2007 for ESPN LA and NBC Sports Radio. Kenyon Barner, 10 years in the league, 3 rings. Don't know how many games like that he went through, but I'm sure we'll hear about it right now. And of course, David Drogamayer, one half of the Locked On Daily Chargers podcast on the Locked On Chargers YouTube channel. Well, as I watched that game pretty much from the jump, I felt like it was JV versus varsity. And the fact that they only lost by 14 was, to me, felt like the Colts just got bored. Like, okay, yeah, right, whatever. But they manhandled the Chargers in every aspect of this game that they could. And if they needed to score, they could. And if they needed to stop the Chargers, they could. If they needed to win this game by 27, they could have. So that was tough. That was really tough. We said all week, David, that they needed to stop Jonathan Taylor on the ground. At 94 yards, I kind of felt like they did a little bit. It says no, a little bit.
No.
Ran more if he wanted to, I guess, right?
Yeah, this.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Go ahead, David. I'll let you take that one.
Okay. Yeah. He was running at will. The only reason why he didn't have more rushing yards is because they didn't give him more carries. And that's because they felt like throwing the ball and they did whatever they wanted. It was, fire away at will, attack however I want to attack. No matter what I was doing, it was working because every single time they were starting their drives, it was, all right, just got a 6-yard pass. Hey, I just got a 5-yard run. Oh, I just got a 7-yard run. When you're in those second and short situations repeatedly over and over and over again, your full playbook is open, and that's super hard to defend. The Colts did whatever they wanted to the Chargers in this game.
This want to go back to Pete's comment about stopping. My guy Jonathan, he averaged 5.9 yards a carry. That is the furthest thing on earth in the NFL from stopping a guy. Anytime you're averaging half of almost a little bit over almost half a first down on your carry, that's absolutely insane. From the first drive, the opening drive, we've seen that this was going to be an issue. And David, you were hitting that nail right on the head. They were never behind the sticks in this game. First down turned into second and short. Third down either didn't come around or it was third and short. Daniel Jones was comfortable in the pocket all game long. Daniel Jones was able to sit back, pick and choose what he wanted to do. Tyler Warren had his way with our secondary. This was just a game of, what is it Burger King, have it your way? That's exactly what this game was. The Colts had it their way in every way, shape, form, or fashion. It was ugly. That's the bottom line. It was ugly. It was very ugly, very disappointing. But at the same time, somewhat expected when it came to the ground game, when it came to the protection of Herbert.
One of the things that I've mentioned before, KB, is that, I covered the Trojans on Saturday and then the Chargers on Sunday. And last year it happened a lot where there were similarities between the two games. It hasn't really happened this year all that much. But yesterday, as the Trojans lost a game that they really kind of could have won, but really got pushed around and made a ton of mistakes. And in the end, it wasn't really all that close. There was a minute in that game where the Trojans scored and then turned right around and gave up a 100-yard run to Jadarian to give Notre Dame a big, comfortable lead.
Are you talking about on the return?
Yeah. He went
Yeah.
from the 100-yard return. I think his name is Jadarian Smith or something. Those two running backs for Notre Dame were out of control. Today, I felt like maybe I'm crazy here, just like I'm crazy saying that they kind of stopped Jonathan Taylor a little bit. The Chargers scored a touchdown to Keenan Allen to make it 31-17 and then turned right around and gave up an 80-yard return, which we don't really see all that often in this days, in today's football game. Had that not happened, did the Chargers, do they have a chance maybe to at least, put up a little bit of fight in this game? Or I'm playing devil's advocate. We got to get through.
You're not at all, because at the end of the day, they still had a chance up until they didn't. They had a chance up until that second to last drive when they were driving down the field. They were still in this game. As bad as this game was, right? This game was there. It was still within reach. As terrible as our run defense was, this game was still within reach. As terrible as we protected Justin Herbert. Listen, it was a block party around Herbert today. I felt like I was back at the house and all my boys and everybody it was a gathering around Justin Herbert. Yeah. With all that being said, it was still within reach. It was just a matter of we could not make the plays that we needed to make. But to your point of scoring and then turn around, anytime you give up that long of a return in the special teams area of the game, it almost guarantees a score. It almost guarantees a score. It's this is tough. It's tough. It really is.
Yeah, people are saying they feel bad for Herbert, and I do too, because they were just. Yes. I mean, the line is just so mismatched right now and so banged up and so injured. I just, and it's not getting any better. And it's just like all the stuff that kind of worked last week against Miami, a bad team, right? Close to working this week.
Not at all. But I mean, what as Charger fans and us doing our job, right? I guess we have to somewhat try and give some glimpse of hope. But when you have your sixth option at left tackle, if I heard that correctly during the broadcast, in Deculus, what do you expect? It's I feel bad for Herbert, but the dude still threw for 400 yards behind a wet paper towel of an offensive line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that comes back to the fact that Indianapolis was just bored. They're like, if we needed to score, we can score at any time. Anytime we need to, it was there for them.
I won't say they got bored, because when you have Keenan Allen showing up the way that he showed up, when you have Gadsden showing up the way that he showed up, we had zero running game. We had no running game. Listen, we might as well not have handed the ball off at all today. We had no. There was maybe one or two plays where I thought Vidal could have did something if he had cut the ball back, but we had nothing. We were as one-dimensional as you could possibly be, and the game was still within reach. So it's not that the Colts got lazy or got comfortable. No, it was that you still had guys showing up in moments making plays.
Yeah, David, it just felt like it was so out of hand from the first drive, right? That the Chargers were behind the eight ball the whole time. And when you don't have the ability to run the ball and you can't stop Jonathan Taylor, there were literally no answers. I was surprised that what's his name? DeForest Buckner wasn't getting home sooner. I mean, he had a big second half with 2 sacks, just tossing guys to the side. It was a huge game for him, and it felt like the defensive line of that Indianapolis Colts played out of their mind getting after the Chargers quarterback, mainly because the Chargers offensive line is so horrifically injured right now that, and the guys that are there are not picking up the slack. At times they give him a little bit of time, but not nearly enough. I mean, he's scrambling for his life all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to play football when you're so behind, right? Yeah. And with the Colts, they were scoring every single time they had the ball. Like they were 4 for 5 in their red zone trips. Like it's just, to be able to compete with that, you have to score every single possession that you have. And when you throw 2 red zone interceptions, that's crippling, right? It's really, really hard to recover from those situations when you're going up against an offense that's a really well-oiled machine. And it takes you out of whatever game plan you would want to have, right? Because you're so behind, you have to throw the ball. And then it makes it even more difficult to have to protect the quarterback because those pass rushers know you have to throw the ball, so they're pinning their ears back and trying to hunt the quarterback. And in that second half, the Colts knew. And so that's why that pass rush was getting home a lot more, because there wasn't even the illusion that they were going to run the ball. They had to throw the ball. That was their only hope in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, you look at this team the way they are right now, and I don't know what the answers are. One of the most surprising things to me was there was two surprising things. The first one, the numbers at halftime were so one-sided. The Chargers 1 of 5 on third down. They'd given up 274 yards versus 141, 17 minutes to 12 in possessions, and they gave up 17 first downs. I mean, it was just so lopsided that it didn't seem like there was any way to come back. They had to be so demoralized after that. And then you come out of the half, and what does Jim Harbaugh say? He actually said something today, guys, and he never says anything. I thought he was just going to give an okay, yep, play football, that's what we do, but he said, we just got to be a little better. A little better? Just a little? I mean, what was that? I'm like, and people are saying it in the chat, like is Harbaugh a fraud? I mean, to me, I don't think that is fair, but
not at all. We could end that conversation now. Harbaugh is a proven winner. That's what he's done at every level, at every stop. That he's a winner. So we can dead that conversation right here, right now. Sorry, Pete.
No, that's all right. No, look, it's being said, and that's the way this game goes. It's not just this game; it's any game. It's professional sports. When your team is losing, it's always the coach's fault. Everybody wants to fire the coach. Look, the Dodgers. When the Dodgers lose, the fans are like, fire Dave Roberts, right? So, it's understandable. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm just sitting here going, okay, is there an answer to make this team competitive again?
No. You are missing the most important element of your football team. The most important group outside of your quarterback position is your offensive line. You have even the guys that are there, whether it's Becton, all these guys are consistently going in. I was just saying this as I was watching the game downstairs. I don't know if I've ever seen this in my entire time of playing football, right? A group that is this decimated by injury, but not only that, it seems like every single game, it's musical chairs at the offensive line position. A guy getting hurt on this play, going out a couple plays, coming back in the game, getting hurt again. Then there's another. You can't win football games that way. I'm sorry, you just can't. It's almost impossible to have a guy that's standing still, cold, run into a game for a couple plays, then run out. It's almost impossible. And so to ask the question is there anything that the Chargers can do right now? The only thing that they can do is get healthy, or as we've talked about on previous episodes, if you're that bought in on winning right now you really have to consider draft capital and what you're willing to do with it in the years that how you want to position yourself. So are you that bought in on winning right now this season? Is that what we're trying to do right now? That's the only two things you can do: get healthy or decide to get on the trading market and make trades. That's it.
Yeah, but doesn't that set up a whole other problem when you're trading, adding new people?
Say it again, Pete.
I said, doesn't that set up a whole new problem if you're just like reshuffling the deck this far into the season, like to just incorporate new guys if they do that? Because a lot of people think that is the answer. Let's go into the trade market. Let's go free agent. Let's find guys and change this team up right now. And I'm like, that's not going to work.
Well, we're trying to free agent. We've already. That's what we're in right now. That's the current space that we're living in, the free agent market right now. And the free agent market clearly doesn't have much to offer. And so if you go and you do make the right trades, now, mind you, it would be a lot of trading that has to take place. This is not a healthy unit. So there's a lot that you would have to give up in order to get things in return. If you can get the type of players that you need, the quality of players, no, you'd be fine. Right? Because you can step in, they can learn the offense, and then you start to move. But then there's also the time frame of cohesiveness, time spent together on the offensive line, communication, knowing what my right tackle likes and my right guard likes, knowing what That it's a whole dynamic. This offensive line thing it's a relationship. It's a marriage. These guys spend all day in meetings talking and figuring each other out, knowing their strengths and weaknesses. So from that standpoint, yeah, it would be a building block. But you can't be in a much worse situation than what we're currently in now.
Al says, no, we've said this before, David. No team would give up a solid O lineman right now. And that's
absolutely not.
There, yeah.
No, they're not going to. This just, why would they, right? If that's a good player, that's a player they're going to want to keep. So, like, this is just a position group that this is a bad position to be in, to need this position, because the good ones are all locked up and they're on the good teams, and there's no way they're going to part from them. So it's going to be difficult to find any kind of upgrade. And also, the Chargers don't have a lot of cap space to work with. They'd have to move some money around to be able to accommodate anything if they're going to make any kind of significant moves. But I think the only thing that you can really be excited about is the fact that Joe Alt is back at practice and that he seems to be getting close to coming back from that ankle injury. And he is clearly the best offensive lineman that the Chargers have. So getting him back, hopefully as soon as this Thursday's game against the Vikings, would be a massive boost for a much maligned Chargers offensive line.
With that, David, even getting Joe Alt back, it's not pretty at any other spot on the field, right? So as we're looking at it, like, you get Joe Alt back, right? So now you can secure up Herbie's backside, right? You can secure up his blind spot. But we're getting pressure up the middle, like a Russian waters. They're just, it's coming through. So it's like, you get Joe Alt back, but there's still leakage throughout this line. And so how do you shore that up? You can get the guys in place, but we didn't do what we needed to do when the time was provided in the off season, right? You had the money to go do what you needed to do, but you chose not to. You chose to be content with what you had. You went and got Mekhi Becton. Okay, cool. But that's not enough. And it's clearly showing. So now as a GM, I can't put this on my players. I got to look at myself. I got to look myself in the mirror and say, I didn't do enough to help this team be in a position that we could thrive.
Well, they clearly focused on going after weapons, right? That was the approach, more so than getting more offensive linemen. They really only added one impact offensive lineman, and then they go out and they bring back a Keenan Allen, and they get Omarion Hampton, they get Arande Gadsden, they get Trey Harris, KLS, they get all of these offensive weapons in the offseason and say, hey, I'm going to throw the weapons at it, but you need the offensive line in front of them to even use the weapons. So I'm with you. I never liked the approach. I've said all off season that they needed to do more. They needed to add more competition at the very least to the offensive line that I felt like on the interior grossly underperformed last year. And I don't feel like they've added enough impact talent to cure that problem. And the only thing that seems to have worked so far is them adding extra tight ends to help with those guys blocking on the outsides, but that restricts kind of what you're able to do, especially if you can't run the football. So they're definitely in a rock and a hard place, and they're going to have to figure it out.
You said something. One sec. I'm sorry, Pete. I know we got to go on break, but you said something. What the weapons they're doing their job. Keenan Allen, these guys, Trey coming in, right? These different type. But what good is a weapon if I have zero ammunition?
Yeah. I
just have weapons for they're good for nothing. So it's just a tough spot to be in. It really is.
Yeah. The offensive line is setting up this entire team for where they are right now. So I'm going to ask you guys the question after the break. What's the mindset of a Charger fan right now? Like where do they look going forward? Okay. Because if you ask me, I don't know that you'd like to hear that answer. We'll do it next. It's the Locked On Chargers Squad Show on the Locked On Chargers YouTube channel, where I'm boring everyone to death. It's my fault that they lose and they have no offensive line. Kenyon, yes, I'm boring everyone to death. So I'm gonna keep doing that because the Chargers lost and it's my fault. So we'll do it right after the break. It's the Locked On Chargers Squad Show. Pete Fox, David Drogamayer, and Kenyon Barner. All right, today's episode of the Locked On Chargers Squad Show is brought to you by Rippling. Rippling is the unified platform for global HR payroll, IT, and finance all in one place. They've helped millions of businesses replace a mess of disconnected tools with one system designed to give leaders clarity, speed, and control. If you're a business owner, here's the truth. SaaS promised to make work easier, but now the average company is buried by hundreds of apps that slow down your team and simply don't work together. That's not SaaS, that's sad. Software deserves a disservice. That's why you need Rippling. Rippling will unite your employees, teams, and departments in one system. Rippling removes the bottlenecks, busy work, and silos that your software has created. And right now you can get 6 months free when you go to rippling.com and use the code LOCKEDONNFL. Rippling.com/LockedOnNFL. That's RIPPLING.com/LockedOnNFL. That's rippling.com/LockedOnNFL for 6 months free. Terms and conditions apply. So the Chargers get punched right in the face and kicked in the you-know-what today, 38-24, after giving up 17 in the second. They kind of had an interesting third quarter where Colts scored 15, the Chargers scored 14. And as you've mentioned, Herbert put up over 400 yards, threw for 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions to go with it, so that can't be overlooked. He was 37 of 25. One of the interceptions was a tip to an offensive lineman. That's just bad luck, but the other one was a bad pass. And look, you got to give the Colts defense credit. They were making life tough for the Chargers receivers, and they were also making life tough for the Chargers running backs, who basically were a non-factor today. But we've talked a lot over and over and over again about this offensive line, and like it's like you guys have both broken it down very accurately thus far, that is the nucleus of their problem, and it leads to the defense having so much pressure where they can't give up anything, right? Because the offense is struggling so much that the defense has to be almost airtight, and that's nearly impossible. So you look at this and say, all right, one person in the chat said, well, hey, look, Denver lost, the Raiders stink. Obviously the Chiefs are the Chiefs, but we're still tied for first place. So it's not all that bad today, right now. I disagree. I think it is very, very bad. And I do not feel like there is light at the end of this tunnel. I agree with KB that when Joe Alt comes back, it's going to make things a little better, but there's still holes on the offensive line. We got Khalil Mack today back for a little bit. We got Denzel Perryman back today for a little bit. It didn't seem to be a factor. So do Charger fans have to just change their mindset on this season? Like, let's hope we can figure out something. Let's hope that we can get healthy and this coaching staff can come up with a new game plan? Or is it, because that's the way I'm looking at it. Like, I didn't after the first drive, I was like, they're done. This game's over. I did not have a shot in hell that they were going to win this game. So I'm just like, would it make it easier to just say, look, we have to have our mindset changed for this team and where they are this season, especially right now, David?
No, definitely not. I'm not anywhere close to changing my mindset on how this team can perform yet. I mean, you look at where they're at, they're still where they're at in the division, still in a very good spot. You know, they just lost their first game in the AFC to an AFC opponent, and they're still 3-0 to start in the division. So, yeah, this was a bad loss. I always said this was going to be a bad matchup. I knew it was going to be a bad matchup with the way that the Colts are able to run the football and their efficiency in the red zone. Those are things that the Chargers have really struggled with. This was just a bad matchup for them. I knew it was going to be, and it definitely turned out to be that way. So I'm definitely not anywhere close to trying to shift my mindset quite yet. This was a tough game. Yeah, it definitely was a tough loss. You're going to have to take your medicine with this one. But the thing is you're not going to have much time to dwell on it because they got to go right around and play another game on Thursday against the Vikings, where I feel like that's a game I feel like the Chargers can get back to winning. And so they're going to have to. Yeah, tough loss, but no, my mindset's not ready to change yet.
Hey, your mic's off, KB. I don't know if I can turn it back on or not. Can I?
Yeah, there you go. It's just muted. Unmute.
Jesus.
There you go.
There we go. Don't touch it.
All
I got
right. The mindset, it does not change, right? David was hitting it right on the head. We are still sitting pretty in the division. We're still the only team in the division with 3 wins over. We're the only team sitting right where we need to be with it. And that right now is the most important thing. Once we get back into division play, taking care of the division. Not only that, we're 7 games into the season. This is a long season. So there's still the opportunity for guys to get back and get healthy, because again, the first 3 games of this season, these are not the conversations we were having. We were having conversations of Justin Herbert being
back and won.
Denver won.
They were coming back. Yeah.
Wow.
They scored 33 in the 4th. I apologize to all of you
God.
Broncos fans that happen to be in here.
Well, now the Broncos are in first place.
Oh my
goodness.
That is out of
wow.
up there, Kenyon. That's big news. That is not helpful.
It's huge news.
It's huge not news. What we needed right now. If it could be worse, it just
not anymore.
Yeah, wow. No, but but that kind of changes things just a little bit, right?
Yeah.
But nevertheless, like I said, in the first 3 games of this season, these are not the conversations we were having. We were having the conversations of the offensive line looks good, they're protecting Herbert. The defense looks good, we're bending, not breaking. We were having conversation of Justin Herbert being in the MVP conversation when this entire team was healthy. So there's still the opportunity to get guys back and get back in that space. This is a long, grueling football season. That's just what it is. It's a boxing match. It's a 12-round heavy round bout. You got to take every blow. You got to slip punches. You got to jab. You got to throw your hooks. That's what it is. And when the time comes, you got to take it, like you said, you got to take the pain like medicine. It's part of it. That's what this game is. It comes with it. It's a part of being a fan of football. You're going to have your ups. You're going to have your downs. You're going to be even killed. It's a roller coaster ride. We all know this. I know this as a player. You know what I'm saying? I don't get much time to truly be a fan, but that's just what that's what sports is. Sports is a roller coaster ride. So let's not hop off the ride now because it's not going our way. We enjoyed it while it was going. So stick around. Don't change your mindset. Continue to support, continue to show up, and have faith that this team will get back to where it once was at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, health is a big part of it. They have to get healthy, and we had a little bit of that today, but as you guys have pointed out, this was just a tough one. And I thought that with some of that health that today would be better, but it just wasn't. And Jonathan Taylor was the reason. And I thought they're good. That was the one thing, right? That was the number one circled on the whiteboard. Got to stop Jonathan Taylor. And they were unable to do that.
It wasn't just Jonathan Taylor, though.
No,
like
definitely not.
You Tyler Warren, Alec Pierce, Amir Abdullah was in spots. You know what I'm like?
It was whoever they wanted.
It was pick and choose. Okay, it was pick your poison today. So Jonathan Taylor was the guy. Don't get me wrong. And so I'm not refuting that at all, Pete. Jonathan Taylor. But when you look at how this game played out, it was everybody. I mean, look at the receiver rundown. 5 receptions for 98, 4 for 69, 7 for 58, 3 for 38. Like this, it was again Burger King. Have it your way.
Everybody got fed.
Everybody.
Yeah, there was it was just easy for all of the ghosts, but it wasn't that. How much of that, KB, is centered on the fact that they were keying on Jonathan Taylor, right? So
they go ahead.
There were times. There was that one touchdown to early on. Pierce had a touchdown where they were clearly keying on the run. They ran play action and then a little quick dump off, to Pierce for a touchdown there because everyone was focused on Taylor. So, I mean, it all stemmed from what he's capable of doing. Yeah. And, the receiving game opened up wide open, especially deep in the red zone for them.
Well, that's the luxury. Like we talk about this, right? That's the luxury you have when you aren't one dimensional. That's the luxury you have when you have a running game that can absolutely sustain and take over a game if needed to, but you also have a passing game if your running game isn't working. Another play that popped up about as far as guys being keyed in on the run was the Tyler Warren's long game that he had with Derwin Davis. Derwin had, or I'm sorry, I keep calling him Derwin. I don't know why I call him Derwin Davis. Derwin James. Yeah. But he had him in coverage, but he got nosy into the backfield and lost him. And then he went on for that long run. But again, when you have a running game and when you have a running back that is as dominant as Jonathan, that's what you get. You know what I'm saying? So yes, that you're absolutely right, Nat Pete. Absolutely.
It wasn't Pierce, it was Pittman who had that easy touchdown there because they were all keying on Taylor. But that was a big part of it. And there was another touchdown later where everyone was just kind of standing around, and another easy touchdown for them because they were confused. I don't know what exactly was going on with the defense, but they were so behind the eight ball all day. And this offense for the Colts was firing on all cylinders. The announcers were saying it. Everyone was witnessing it. It was just too darn easy for them today. And, I don't know what the answer would be other than what you're saying, Kenyon. And I kind of agree. I mean, that's trying to put a lipstick on a pig here right now, but hey, tomorrow's another day and Thursday's another game, and we got to turn the page, right? You can't worry about this too much. Obviously, they're going to focus on it, but you got to move on because you can win this game against the Minnesota Vikings, who are dealing with Carson Wentz as quarterback. So there is, there's a real opportunity. They're not a powerhouse the way the Indianapolis Colts are. They're 3-3. I believe they lost today because when I was watching, they lost to the Eagles 28-22. That's a game that they can win. So they have to, they got to focus on, trying to turn the page and get better, sure up some of these holes, and keep moving forward because the season is not over. We need to take a break. It's the Locked On Chargers squad show on the Locked On Chargers YouTube channel, where you find David and Daniel Monday through Friday with the Locked On Daily Chargers podcast. Check them out for an in-depth examination of what's going on in this Charger universe. All right, today's episode of the Locked On Chargers Squad Show is brought to you by Mazda. Mazda crafts cars for those who do more than simply move. Mazda delivers confidence with every ride with more IIHS top safety picks awards than anyone else as of August of 2025. You can feel Japanese craftsmanship in every detail, from the metallic accents to the available Napa leather upholstery, from footwork to breathwork. Athletes sweat all the details. Mazda brings this same intention to how they craft every model. With all-wheel drive standard in every crossover SUV, you can drive with confidence through almost every season. Like our players, we sweat every detail, or they do, because when you make every move count, impossible becomes irrelevant. Mazda, move and be moved. All right, Chargers fall today, 38-24. They are now getting ready to face the Minnesota Vikings on Thursday night. That's going to be a tough one on a short week coming off of this game. They will have to come to this game with a completely different game plan. But again, Omarion Hampton's not going to be back there, so that is a problem that they're going to have to continue to deal with. KB, what do you think went into the lack of a running game today? You put that all on the Colts, or was that part of the game plan for them, or just the fact that they were forced to throw the ball because they were down all day?
No, I think it goes right back to the offensive line. Right? We can't protect in the passing game, and we can't run the ball. That's just what it is. I think the game plan was to come out and have a balanced attack and attack that way. But once you find out that you can't, you have to change, you have to adapt, you have to adjust. And I will give credit to Greg Roman. You know what I'm saying? Of seeing, okay, the ground game is non-existent today. So we got to put this game in Herbert's hand, and we got to hope that we can protect him long enough so that he can deliver the ball downfield. Just wasn't the case often on today. But I firmly believe that, there was hope that we could have a running game. But we talked about this last week. Once a defense, once there's film on you, right? Kamani Vidal came off, had a phenomenal game. But now there's film. Right. And I said that there would be guys wearing his jersey number in practice. Now the defense is looking at his movements, looking at his tendencies, looking at the runs that they like to run with him. So now they're prepped for that. And it's a completely different game for a guy when a defense is prepping for you. When you're a guy that a team is game planning for, it becomes a hell of a lot harder. I think it was a credit to, one, the Colts, but also due to the lack of our ability to run the football.
David, a lot of people are putting this on the defense and that they just let them down. Offense was not the problem for this game. Mark says our defense really let us down. There's, people are saying Minter's a joke. Minter is a fraud, blah, 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 blah. Okay, we don't need to get into that specifically because Minter's not going anywhere. He's going to be the defensive coordinator for the rest of this season at a minimum. The fact is that how much of the defensive performance today can you put this loss on? I mean, it's a fair point.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they definitely struggled with stopping the run and really just giving up way too many yards on the early downs. And it's really, really hard to defend when you're in those situations. But the Chargers offense had their faults in this game too. I mean, they had two red zone interceptions that were thrown, and the special teams also had an issue in this game where they're giving up that 80+ yard special teams return. So there's plenty of blame to go around. It wasn't just the defense, wasn't just the offense. I mean, everybody had their issues in this game. Like the 2 red zone interceptions are killer. I understand that one of them was popped up in the air, and that one I'm not putting on Justin.
Yeah.
The other one, just not a great
terrible throw.
It's
terrible
not
throw.
a great throw. And so you can't win games against teams like this that are that efficient at scoring touchdowns because you have to score those points. You got to match it up. And, that makes it hard for everybody on the team. It's not just the defense's fault.
Not at all. And I want to add this. If you go back to the beginning of the game on the Chargers' first drive, they're driving, they're going downfield. The Colts had just scored their touchdown, missed the field goal, and the Chargers scoring, but then you turn around, you get into scoring range, you have a false start by Mekhi Becton, pushing you back 5 yards, going from 31 to now 3rd and 6. Then you turn right around on the very next play, and Zion Johnson gets a holding call. They decline it. Now it's 4th down. Now you have to settle for a field goal. Not only that, you have the Will Dissly drop right after Gadsden gets hurt, after he makes his big play, hits in the knee, comes out of the game. And Will Dissly drops the ball the very next play. Coming out, I think he ran a basic route coming over the middle. So there are, again, like you said, David, this is everybody takes a hand in a loss. You can always point to one side of the ball and say, okay, they had a major. No. Everybody plays a part in a loss. It's just amplified and magnified when you're going against a team like the Indianapolis Colts, who has Jonathan Taylor and is moving the ball as fluidly as they were moving it.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Look, that Dissly drop, I wrote it down. That was huge at that particular moment. And those kinds of things just can't happen in this game against this team, right? Where you can't afford to have those kinds of mistakes that put you down that far to where you have to dig out of a hole. And, it's nearly impossible to have the defense stop them when they were doing what they've been doing all day and have the offense go out and, overcome a 3-touchdown deficit. But I guess there is some good news. Arande Gadsden had a fantastic game. That's huge. And in the red zone today, the Chargers were 3 of 4, something that they have struggled with of late. So they're the worst team in the NFL in the red zone. So 3 of 4 today is good for them. Granted, they were down big during all of those scores. So I think that the Colts were just kind of playing a little bit looser. That they were definitely in a bend, don't break defense for sure. But yeah, this one, is this the kind of game, Kenyon? Have you been a part of a game like this? I'm sure you have. Where
I've been whooped plenty of times. Listen, I've been on teams where we've gotten our head kicked in multiple times. These type of games. These are the games you watch the film, but you want to forget about it as fast as possible. These are the games that you go ahead.
It's a wipe.
Yeah. You want to get past this. Like, people ask, is it better to get blown out or to lose by a last-second touchdown? The games where you just get absolutely dogged, dragged through the mud. Those are the games where you really got to look at yourself and be honest and say, damn, this just wasn't good enough. These are the type of games that humble you. You need them. You need them. And so, these games suck. They do. But they happen often. They happen all the time. Even in games that appear close, you can still be getting your head kicked in.
Yeah. So the question is then, do they take this and is this loss, compared to the loss against the Giants, which was this was a different kind of loss. Is this the kind of game that will potentially motivate you and wake you up and say, we've just got to be cleaner and we've got to be better?
Is that for me or David?
Either one, both. We still got 15 minutes to go.
I think for this type of game here, like, for me, the issue is their struggles defending the edge in the run for their run defense has been an ongoing issue that they have had in the last several games that they played. And the tape was out there and they know it's an issue. And I was hoping that when Khalil and Denzel were coming back, that they were going to be able to at least help with that issue, but that didn't really happen. I mean, whenever Jonathan Taylor got to the outside, like, he was finding all kinds of space. And so that edge control is a major problem for me. And they need to correct that issue on defense, like, very, very quickly, or else it's just going to continue to get exploited.
Yeah, 3 weeks in a row now they've not been able to contain the edge.
Yeah, I think this game should be it should be not. I look at things like this. I say I've never lost, right? Because I can learn in everything. As long as I'm learning, I'm winning. As long as I'm learning, I can never lose. And in this game, I think there's so much to learn from. We talked about it on the earlier episodes last week about in gotta have it situations with Derwin James, how he needs to be on Tyler Warren. On Tyler Warren's touchdown, you put Henley on him. You can't have that. That is a gotta have it play. I'd rather blitz Henley than blitz Derwin in a moment like that when you're facing a player like that. But not only for the defense, but then you go to the offensive side of the ball and you go to Gaston after he does take that hit to the knee. I need you as a player now. Okay, if I'm not hurt, if it's just something if it's a hit, I need to get back in the game. Like, I know I have to know my personnel, not only as a coach, but as a player. And I know that I'm needed. I know that Herbert is looking to me. So now as a player, okay, yeah, I took a hit. Now I got to get right back out there. Adrenaline is everything. You see players all the time, roll an ankle, go run a play. You think nothing's wrong with them. As soon as the play is over, they're limping again. The mind is it's an amazing tool. So I think this game is a learning tool. It's something that everybody can look at this. You can learn from it. You can get better at.
Jeff says, we've been learning the last 4 weeks. They're learning moments. When are we going to start showing what we've learned? Yeah. The last week of the season. I mean, probably. It's constant learning throughout, and that's a big part of it. Justin Herbert, 420 yards. Am I reading this correctly? That is the most yards he's thrown for in a football game? That's amazing. Yeah. So I guess that's got to be a weird feeling for him. His best game yards wise as a professional, but in a game that wasn't close, and they appeared to not even have a chance to win this game. So he's got to feel a little bit weird about that one for sure. But look, the offense at times looked good. The defense was a big liability today. The special teams was a liability. They didn't do a whole lot of anything. I don't know how much time we can spend talking about special teams, KB, because there wasn't a whole lot of it today.
No.
Kick returns, Nyheim Hines had 4 for 98 yards and Darius Davis 2 for 49 yards. What was your read on that?
I mean, there's not much there. You know, they did with what they did with what they had, with what they could. The bigger issue is giving up that long return. That's the big, that in a game like this, you can't have that. In a game where everything else is going wrong, where no side of the offensive and the defensive side of the ball they're just not there. They're not getting it done. Special team has to be the unit that brings something to the table. You can't add on to the issue.
Yeah, I still look at this team and I say there has to be, again, let's talk about this after the break. You brought it up once, David. We talked about it last week. The 12 and 13 personnel worked for them. Is that something that they need to exploit or focus on more? We'll get into that after the break. It's the Locked On Chargers Squad Show on the Locked On Chargers YouTube channel. After a 38-24 loss, the Chargers are now 2-2 at home and 4-3 overall. Today's episode of the Locked On Chargers Squad Show is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL season is here and in full swing. FanDuel has an offer for you that you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if that bet wins. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. It makes watching sports a whole lot more fun and a whole lot more interesting. You know, you could have, if you'd have had like an over on Justin Herbert's yardage today, I guarantee you would have won that. And even though the Chargers got punched in the mouth, you would have come away from this one feeling better about things. So visit FanDuel right now. What are you waiting for? Go to their website, FanDuel.com, and download the FanDuel app today to get started. So the Chargers lose, and it wasn't close. It wasn't pretty. There wasn't much to feel good about other than, Arande Gadsden had a nice game, and that was positive. But the offensive line.
Hold on. It's a little more than a nice game, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a career game. That's 7 catches, 164 yards, and his first NFL touchdown. That's not just a nice game. That's a career performance. That's one of the biggest tight end performances for a rookie that the Chargers have had in their history. So I don't want to just gloss over that like it's not a big moment. And like the Chargers have really been looking for that next kind of pass catching tight end ever since they let go of Hunter Henry and let him go sign with New England. Arande Gaston is showing that he is that guy. Like he is that legit weapon, and he absolutely should be commended for this game. He went crazy.
Yeah, you talk about finding a bright spot or a silver lining. Arande is that in this game. Not just Arande, but Keenan Allen as well.
Yeah.
Like, everybody talks about age, but Keenan Allen, 11 catches, 119 yards and 1 touchdown, but showing up in those big moments. So those two guys, we definitely can't. You expect that from Keenan Allen. He's done it. That's what he does. But for Arande, being a rookie, again, in a game where nothing is going your way, nothing is going right, all hell is breaking loose, you're getting your head kicked in on every side of the ball, and you happen to be that one lone bright spot. So, no, it's definitely more than just an okay or this was a hell of a game for that young fella.
I don't get many people that agree with me, so I'm going to go with Marvin here for a second here. Big moment in a blowout. It didn't mean anything. Look, it was fantastic.
It does mean, listen, it doesn't mean something on the grid. Okay, my fault.
I got my head kicked in a couple of days ago on the Dodgers postcast, because after the Shohei Ohtani game where he hit 3 home runs and struck out 10 people, I was like, yeah, but he hit 3 bad pitches, right? They threw pitches right over the strike zone and he hit him out. He is one of the greatest hitters. I was like, yeah, it's a big deal. No one's ever done that before. It's a big deal. But they threw bad pitches to him and he hit him out. Obviously, he's going to do that. So people were like, normally on our shows, or especially the Dodgers postcast, at least right now, I get like 95 to 100% likes, right? Thankfully. I got 65%. People were all over me. They were killing me because I wasn't, completely jocking Shohei Ohtani's greatness. He is great. He does things that no one has ever done before. I get it. But we have to look at the context. Bad pitches over the plate in a game that wasn't close. Same thing goes for Arande Gaston. It's fantastic. It's a great game in a blowout in a game that wasn't close. So when the moment and the lights are brighter, it means more, right? It has to.
I'm gonna speak to you from a player's perspective.
Okay.
When them guys get in that locker room, every one of them players is walking up to Arande Gaston. Hey, bro, you did your thing tonight. Great game. Every coach on that coaching staff is walking up to Arande Gaston. Great job, young fella. Way to show up. Way to show up. So to the fans, no, it doesn't mean anything, right? We lost the game. And as players, there are guys who, hey, y'all got beat. I won today. There are guys like that. There are absolutely guys like that. Don't get me wrong. But when you look at the Chargers have not had again, since Henry left, then you go back before that, we all know who the great is. You know what I'm saying? So to have this and to have this show up on this stage, it absolutely means something. I don't care if it is a blowout. How would you have felt if no one showed up? How would you have felt if there wasn't anybody to point to and say, you know what, that guy fought, that guy played hard, that guy made play? How would you feel then? So no, it absolutely matters. It 1000% matters. Yeah, it's in a loss. But nevertheless, you know what he's capable of. You know what he can do because he showed up and did it.
Yeah, no, I probably, to answer your question, I probably would feel the same as I feel right now, because it all boils down to winning and losing. And, this was about an ugly loss. And look, yeah, I'll take away that Arande Gadsden played well today, and, tip of the cap, shout out, all of that, keep it rolling, youngster, all of that, 164. It's great. It's fantastic. And I'm not trying to say that it doesn't mean anything. It just, putting up it's like in a golf tournament when you start early and you're 10 strokes back and you birdie the last 6 holes. Okay, that's good, but so what? I don't know. It's a fine line here, and I know we're splitting hairs. And the bottom line is he played well, and you cannot put this loss on him in any way, shape, or form. Although I think we've all said that they didn't do anything well today. So,
Pete, let me add something to what you just said, Pete. I want to add something.
Go ahead.
I think we're ignoring the fact that this kid has never played on this level. Yeah, I think we're ignoring the fact that this is his first year in the NFL. You can't disregard that. We can't ignore that. If this was Antonio Gates, if this was Greg Olsen, if this was Jason Kelsey, or not, if this was Travis Kelsey, if these was one of those guys, then yeah, okay, you did what you were supposed to do. But the fact that you've never seen this kid do this, you've never seen him show up, it absolutely means something. I get it, Shohei Ohtani. But listen, when it comes to Shohei Ohtani, it's not my fault you threw a bad pitch. Because listen, even guys that are in this league with me can't hit those pitches out of the park.
That's why 3 for 10 is considered a Hall of Famer.
You know what I'm saying. So for again, I feel a little bit about this because this kid is a rookie. He's not proven. He's not had the opportunity. No one expected this of Arande. No one thought this would be the case in this game or any game throughout this season. And if anybody said they did, they are a bald-faced liar. And I would say it right now. Nobody expected this.
All right. Well, let me put it out there this way.
Go ahead.
Can we, as we went to break, I teased the 12 and 13 personnel, which is 2 and 3 tights blocking. Can we exploit what Arande Gadsden did by putting him in potentially as an extra blocker and then rolling him out of that? Because obviously this line is so hampered that they need more help. And that 12 and 13 personnel puts them in a better position to give Justin Herbert the opportunity to throw the ball. So with Arande Gadsden stepping up, saying, all right, I'm here, I'm ready, I'm good to go, I can play at this level. Can that help the Chargers with their offensive line problems, David?
Yeah, I mean, at least they know who they have in him and that he's reliable and he's a guy that can create big plays. And also, I feel like when I've watched him as a blocker, he's been competent. Like, he's more athletic. He's a little bit quicker, right? So he can get out there and get in front and get in the hole. So yeah, I'd like to see the 12 and 13 personnel a lot more. I think those tight ends need to be on the field to help these offensive linemen out, to help in the running game. Like they need to have that type of personnel, and also they need to have more of the quick passing game. Like if you're not going to run the ball well, like you need to get the ball out of Justin Herbert's hands quickly, get it in the hands of your playmakers. And hey, now they know what they have in Arande Gadsden, so you better believe he's going to be heavily involved in the game plans going forward, and that is going to affect how they use their tight ends. But you need to have Tucker Fisk, you need to have Will Dissly on the field helping those tackles so that they can get some time to get the ball down the field.
You have to, right? Because we talked about tendencies earlier. Now the tendency will come into play if he's only used as a pass catching tight end. Now the tendency and defense pick up, and when he comes in, it's a pass. So you have to incorporate it if you want him to continue to have the success. As I said earlier, teams start the game plan for you. And after a game like this, somebody will have on Arande Gaston's jersey out in Minnesota come Tuesday walkthrough, whenever they start the thing up. But you have to incorporate those tight end sets, because we've seen it in the previous game. It provides an extra layer of protection for Herbert, which gives him more time to complete passes. But it also, you can now start to blend and hide Arande and use him in different spots, whether it's sending him on high routes behind the line of scrimmage, or the screens where you're faking blocking, or you're blocking and setting up in the alley. So there's so much that you can do with a guy like Arande.
Well, it is definitely the silver lining in this one for the Chargers to have a big game from him. Keenan Allen, also a big game. 11 catches, 119 yards, and a touchdown. Ladd, 9 of 67. It was nice to see Quentin Johnston back out there, 2 catches for 30 yards. Trey Harris even had a big catch there at one point. That was pretty clutch for the Chargers. So the passing game, if they can get any protection, things will be better. That's the bottom line. I think that's why it's so frustrating for me to watch. It's like, if they could just figure out a way. Everyone else seems to figure it. Not everyone, but everyone we're playing right now seems to be able to figure out a way to give their quarterbacks time. Why can't we? Oh, God, I'm so jealous of. I never in my life have spent this much time focusing on offensive lines and worrying about the offensive line and just hoping that our offensive line can get healthy. And it's one of those things that when everything is good, you never talk about it. When it's bad, it's all you talk about. And I feel like, it is the focal point of the Chargers issues right now. And it's the focal point of our discussions. So we can hope that Joe Alt's high ankle sprain will start to feel better. And better than it did this week. So he's back out there against Minnesota on Thursday night, and we can run the ball a little bit better and keep throwing the ball the way that we are, because that is going well. It's not, the thing I feel bad for, and this will be our final thought here. I want both you guys to comment is some of the people in the chat have brought it up. And the thought is that I'm just banning users over here that are just, haters. So the thing that people have brought up is that Justin Herbert, they feel bad for Justin Herbert because he's scrambling for his life on a regular basis. KB, is that a situation where, hey, look, he's fine with it because that's just him doing his job? Or does he at some point start to feel frustrated?
I mean, it's his job, but I know Herbie. And he's going to play it cool. Herbie is a true professional. But just like any player, when you go home and you get around the people that you love and the people that love you, and you can absolutely let your hair down and let loose, Herbert is letting loose. I can guarantee it. The only quarterback that let you know right then and there that I've seen was Tom Brady.
Oh.
And Philip Rivers. Absolutely,
yeah.
Phil.
Yeah.
Those guys will let you know right then and there. So he's absolutely frustrated. No quarterback wants to be under fire the way that Justin Herbert is under fire. No quarterback does. I don't care who it is. You put the greatest of them all. Nobody would be comfortable in this spot.
Yeah, it's horrible. I mean, the dude, and the thing is people look at it and he had the red zone interceptions and that sucked, right? They're bad, but he didn't play bad. He did not play bad in this game. You don't throw for 420 yards if you're playing bad. Yeah, some of those were empty yards, sure. But, he was making plays all over the field. He was breaking tackles. He was stiff-arming defenders. He was extending plays and making throws. Make no mistake, Justin Herbert is absolutely out there balling, doing everything he can, regardless of the situation in front of him, because that's all he can do. He is a baller, so he is going to always give you a chance. But even when you have a player as talented as he is, with that offensive line in front of him, it's really hard to be able to do that. And you better believe he's so buttoned up whenever he's in front of the cameras, right? He's never going to ever throw anybody under the bus. But you better believe when he gets home, it's going to be like, man, these guys are laying me out to dry. I am doing my best, and it is still not good enough.
Yeah. And then you got
he's not Carson Beck.
Yeah.
And you got DeForest Buckner tossing guys like rag dolls all over the place. It's not very often that you hear the announcers talk about whether or not they think Justin Herbert has the best stiff arm as a quarterback in the NFL. That's
pretty lethal.
It's
pretty lethal.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for the Locked On Chargers squad show today. 38-24. Back to work on Thursday. Kenyon, Jim, and I will be at it on Tuesday with the Locked On Chargers squad show during the week. And then David and Daniel, of course, Monday through Friday with the Locked On Daily Chargers podcast. So make sure you check them out right here on the Locked On Chargers YouTube channel. For Kenyon Barner, 10 years in the league, and David Drogamayer, I am Pete Fox. We appreciate you watching, listening, and we appreciate the comments. Take care. Have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.